Now, please remain standing for a moment of silence. Roll call, please.
Here.
Here. Here, motion. 3 commissioners present, 2 absent. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. And there is none. Number 4, communications. Commissioner, one communication was received. There was an email. Okay, would you like to read that for us, please? I need your microphone. I can't hear you good, honey. Thank you.
Mr. Cortez purchased 1321 Indiana Street, which is a 750 square foot, 2-bedroom home on a 25-foot lot for $64,000. He says he wants to thank you for a dream come true. I thank God and you for being there and helping people to have a home. God bless you and your family always, and I would love to have you for a family dinner when we finally move. Louis Cortez.
Awesome. Okay, number 5, subordination request approval for 2 applicants.
Commissioners, this is for 2 subordination requests for Richard Hassel and Christine Valentine.
Are they
Richard and Christine?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you today? Got any questions, commissioners?
Dennis, the notes that scroll down, that was for Dennis.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Like I said, the first one, Richard's, going from 30 years, looks like to 17 years, so
Very good.
pretty good deal.
Christy? Oh, you're, sorry, you're here. Any questions, commissioners?
No, I don't have any questions.
That's unusual of you, Commissioner. Any discussion?
That's so usual for me, huh?
Yes, Commissioner. Yes, it is, especially when it comes to this. Okay.
Madam President.
Yes, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the subordination request for the 2 applicants, Richard Hassel at 7442 Berry Parkway, and Christine Valentine. Did I pronounce your name?
Valentine.
Valentine, I'm so sorry.
No problem.
At 1260 177th Street.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Presley, Navejas, Myrick,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Lambert.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Number 6, United Neighborhood, Inc., Parish View Homes. Welcome, Alexis.
Thank you so much. Commissioners, as we know, the 2 model homes that were constructed in Parish View have been sold to 2 wonderful families that were currently residing in Hammond and had made an investment in Hammond. They just upgraded to new construction in Parish View. One of the owners is here with us today, Charles Callis. He's the owner of the 7015 Carolina Court. Hopefully the other family at a later date may be able to address you guys. So thank you for the partnership in Parish View, and if you have any questions for Mr. Callis, okay?
I really enjoyed getting the letter, the bio, you really enjoyed reading it, and I thank you for staying in Hammond.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Your family.
Thank you.
Congratulations there in the new home. Any questions, Commissioners? Yes, we did. We toured this house, yes. It is
Such a
great.
wonderful house. Everyone keeps coming by. I think I've had
Looking at
3 or
it.
4 people.
I just bought it. You can't have it, right?
Yeah. No, I've shown about 2 or 3 people that have knocked on the door, like they wanted to see it. I was like, sure, why not? I'll come for you. So And they loved it. They're like, when are they building more? I was like, you have to ask them that.
Well, I'm glad you like it that well.
Yeah.
Yeah, the layout of that house is really nice, the floors.
Yes. No, I've had no issues, except one little issue, but that was it.
What would that be?
It was something with the sub pump. They basically, it was draining out right next to the house and it was going right back into the foundation of the bedrock and then coming right, pumping back out. So called the plumber out that day and they fixed it, so.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, that we have a little bit of problem there in Hammond with a little water sometime with the seepage. Any more discussions, commissioners? I don't think we need a motion on this, do we? Well, congratulations and enjoy your new home.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for coming by, too.
No problem.
Enjoy that new home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want a barbecue.
Later, Dave.
All right. Number 7, homebound conditional forgivable loan for 6 applicants. Jennifer?
This is for 6 homebound conditional forgivable loan approvals. There is one that could not be here today. His name's David Gibson, but if we can approve him, and then I'll have him show up at the next redevelopment meeting.
Okay.
Everybody else want to come up for homebound?
You got 2 from Illinois, I see.
Sheldon, Daniel, Alvarez.
McKinsey and Gibson from Illinois. Welcome to Indiana. If you're here, over here. Mr. Gibson?
Sorry, what?
David's not.
Oh, okay.
Right, David's
All
not here.
right.
Mr. McKenzie.
McKinsey,
Yeah, McKenzie.
welcome.
Thank you.
Questions, commissioners?
Just maybe a couple of you can jump in there. How'd you hear about the program?
My realtor, Kathy Hollow.
Kathy who?
Hollow.
What company is she with?
Hollow Homes.
I don't know her.
It's a new one for me, too.
Oh, okay. Now, I see, the reason I asked this is because I am a realtor. Normally, when you say a name, I know it, but I didn't know her name. What about Mr. You're Mr. McKenzie, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What about, Mr. Stokes? How'd you hear about the program?
My wife.
Oh, your wife, okay. Anybody else want to tell us how you heard? Anybody?
I just looked it up online, like I was just Googling it, and it just came up, like the different programs.
Wow, that's nice. My neighbor. Okay, Mr. Sosa? Welcome. You have everything working out good with you? No problem? No. Any more questions, discussions, commissioners?
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I'd like a motion to approve the homebound conditional forgivable loan approval for the 5 applicants that are here and for the 6th one, provided that he shows to our next meeting.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
So Presley, Navejas, Myrick,
Yes.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Lambert.
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
3 commissioners present and 2 absent. Congratulations, everyone. Enjoy your new home.
Thank you.
And, yeah, welcome to Hammond.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 8, authorized to advertise for bids to sell 1048 Kenwood Street property.
Commissioner,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Garcia is here, and I wanted to, is it okay to bring him up?
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead, please.
At a previous meeting, you approved him to purchase an NSP home at 7339 Howard Avenue. He wasn't able to attend before, but he is here now.
Awesome.
So if you want to come up, Mr. Garcia.
Welcome. How are you liking your house? Your home working out?
I ain't got there yet.
You ain't got there yet?
Not yet. Almost.
Almost.
I appreciate you guys very much.
You're more than
Do you
welcome.
have
We like,
a scheduled closing date yet?
Not yet. Because of this, and we're waiting for the final repairs to get done, which like the AC unit and the window, one window is cracked, and that's it.
Did they give you a tentative date maybe, or?
It should be within like 2 weeks, so it's coming. I'm excited, trust me.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, we appreciate you coming by.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna be closer to work, so I'd rather move to Indiana. And,
Awesome.
I work at the prison, Westfield.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. I read that.
Yeah, so
Ooh, great.
got out of work early today to make it.
Well, you're
Appreciate
closer
you
to
guys.
work. That's good.
So did we approve him the last?
We approved
Yeah.
him, yes, and he just came back. to
Came to
say that.
introduce himself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Good
No
luck with your
problem.
home.
I thank you very much.
You're
Guys,
welcome.
take care. All right, thank you.
Okay, okay, we'll go number 8, 1048 Kenwood Street property.
Commissioners, the property at 1048 Kenwood Street is owned by the Redevelopment Commission, and we have noticed that a number of our lots in the city are vacant, and this is a vacant lot. And the church that's directly across the street from it is very interested in that lot. I think they want to expand their parking. So at this time, I would like to ask for authorization to advertise, put an ad in the paper for the sale of that property. The dimensions of the property is 12 by 5 by 12.5 by 125. The area is 1,562 square feet. So it's not really a buildable lot, and it does have a huge tree right in the middle. So they're very interested in the lot.
Has this come before us before? It sounds very familiar.
Well, we had talked numerous times about how redevelopment owns a certain amount of properties. And at one point, we were trying to fund the maintenance of the properties with HUD funds, and we found out we were not able to do that. So at that point, we decided redevelopment owned properties, we need to find interested buyers and advertise and see what kind of bids we get.
Any more questions, commissioners?
So, since this is located next door to a church,
Cross street.
across the street, so why don't we just donate it to the church and be done with it?
Go ahead.
Well, because of, we're city government, we have to go through the process of advertising. You know, we have the appraisals already. And once we put the bid into, the information into the paper, we'll see who, applies to get the lot.
And usually,
And
if
they
it's
would-
not buildable, they
Yeah,
won't even bother,
yeah,
and
definitely.
another neighbor that wants it, but.
Yeah, it's not very wide.
No, not at all.
So by state law, you have to advertise the property, and you have to offer it, give everybody a chance to bid on it if it's owned by the city, or in this case, redevelopment.
So, if no one, even the church, if no one submits a bid, then what?
Then you are free to negotiate. Then you could potentially sit down with the church officials and try and work out some deal.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
on that, I'd like to make a motion and authorization to advertise the bid to sell 1048 Kenwood Street property.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes, 3 commissioners present and 2 are absent.
Thank you.
Moving right along, number 9. Petition to the Advisory Board of Zoning Appeals for 2901 through 49 Carlson Drive.
Commissioners, our city planner, Brian Poland, is here to talk to us a little bit about this variance.
And then, actually, just briefly about 1048 Kenwood Street. Of course, we'll go back and also make sure that the zoning is appropriate for the use, if it is the church that is looking at that, because that would present an issue of the fact that it's a residential district. So, just wanted to make sure that's on record.
Thank you for.
Actually, right now, number 8, we're seeking the authorization to apply for the Board of Zoning Appeals for the developmental variances for the sign at Oxbow Landing. It's something that we had talked about for some time about how to properly have signage on this, on the property. When you talk about access to the, or the adjacency to the expressway, there's a visibility issue with the sound barrier wall and the heights and issues of the overpasses and the ramp system. And when you have multiple tenants in a location, you also have the potential of each tenant wanting to have a very tall sign. So based on precedents that we have had elsewhere at the interchanges, and the most immediate precedent is the White Coat development that's on the west side of Kennedy. There's a large multi-headed type sign. So that is the idea that we are basing this on to apply to the Oxbow development, that we'd have a single pole with approximately 6 heads on the signs. And I'm going to hand out real quickly just some quick drawings of it.
No, it's been lost before. Come back. Yeah, it does.
Gracias.
Oh, I see.
So, as the one drawing, you see that there's 6 sign panels proposed on the sign. When you look at that drawing, one of the most awkward things to find is that it's written in inches, and it's very awkward unless you can quickly do the math of dividing by 12, which most people can't without a calculator. But it is proposed to be around 95 feet tall. It could be taller. Part of the stuff that we are looking at now is just to really have an understanding of the visibility as one travels down the expressway. It is, again, the sound barrier wall and the ramp system that will affect the final height of the sign. We are talking about in the bottom row in the center to have what is called a programmable variable message sign. And that's one of those electronic signs. And that is something that would be available for the city for advertisement of events. The boxes that you're seeing there is like the maximum size of what the sign could be. So the signs could be smaller, but you are talking about the top row, you're talking about 21 feet 10 inches by 13 feet 7 inches. So when you're talking about something to be able to see from a distance, it will be a very large sign. So therein lies the request for all the variances. So there's 2 sets of variances. One is the developmental side of it when it comes to the height of the sign, the amount of square footage of signage allowed on that lot, and in particular to the programmable message sign, there's a limitation, the regulations, that it can't be wider than 10 feet, and this is 20 feet. So that's one of the applications. The second application is for the property. What we're trying to do is create a separate lot for the sign that would continue to be owned by the Redevelopment Commission. Because of, in that zoning district, the minimum lot size is 20,000 square feet. We were looking at trying to reduce that in order to free up as much property for actual other development and limit to what would be the minimal necessary for just to have a sign on it. And that's to reduce it down to no less than 6,500 square feet. The lot that's on that drawing that I gave you, that is around 7,500 square feet. That may or may not be the exact final configuration, but it is very close proximity. If you look at the property and you understand where Carlson Drive is, it's on the north side of Carlson Drive, or the expressway side of Carlson Drive, the easternmost point. So that's why it's kind of a triangular lot. When you has 177th Drive becomes Carlson Drive, or 177th Street becomes Carlson Drive. It's a triangular piece of ground, so that also is the awkwardness of how to place that sign on the property. So again, the request is for authorization to go ahead with applying to the Board of Zoning Appeals for variances, and then Don Novak and I are working out all that, and we expect that to happen at the May 28th meeting. So if we can just have the authorization to proceed.
I like actually one, big pole thing with the 5 instead of a bunch of signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. My other question though, does it have potential, not that we probably would have to, but could there be potential to add another thing to it if you needed?
Well, we talked about that, and I think a lot of it is going to be in the final engineering, because this is really just a preliminary layout. The sign company we have not got far enough into the process for the sign company to understand, the weight distribution, the wind loads, and all that kind of stuff. I think we talked about that if we don't do the electronic message sign, another panel could go there, a static panel that would help if there's another tenant. So there's some flexibility that we're building into it. It's just, you know, until we get all the tenants in place to know what the sign demand is, that's kind of where we're working with that.
I've seen that the electronic signs really grab your attention. I've noticed that. And you wouldn't have the problem with the wind either as much as this one.
Yeah,
You do have an option.
right. The comment about the electronic signs, I just want to mention this. There's a whole series of regulations that NDOT has with electronic variable message signs as they are for billboards. So when you see a lot of these electronic billboards, what you're seeing is a static image. It may be very colorful, but it's a stationary image, and then it will change, like take 2 seconds to change, as opposed to a sign that you may see at a bank where there's a message going through, because that starts getting into traffic safety problems. If you have a lot of visual activity, your eyes will be drawn to the sign, and when you have a high-speed expressway trying to get off on a ramp, you don't need any further distractions.
I understand that.
Well put, Brian.
Yeah. That was, you just answered all my questions in your last sentence. So, any more questions, commissioners? Any more discussion?
Since it's so close to that Griffith Airport, how is that height, the height? Because I know that recently, someone in my office sold some land for a cell phone tower, and because of the proximity to that Griffith Airport, it became an issue. Would this become an issue? The height.
No, I mean, it's well within the context of the situation, or of that area. The Wyco sign is somewhere around 95 feet, so we're trying to keep that balanced. You know, the way we've written the documents, that we are asking up to 115 feet, but that will only be if it's necessary because of sound barrier wall and visibility issues. Most cell towers start at 100 feet to 125 feet. Most of the cell towers that are located within the NDOT right-of-way on the expressway, some of them are at 300 feet. So it does get into, you know, proximity to airports, you know, your landing strip and the clear zones that those regulations then set up.
Yeah, I would say 300 feet or less, you're usually pretty safe.
Except for those low-flying planes.
I've seen some helicopters going by real
Yeah.
too.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize to apply to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the developmental variances for a common sign at Oxbow Landing, Block 2.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Presley, Navejas, Myrick,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Lambert.
Yes, motion passes. 3 commissioners are present and 2 are absent. Number 10, determination of compliance for Buffalo Wild Wings at 2942 Carlson Drive in the Gateways redevelopment area.
Commissioners, as you know, we've been working with Buffalo Wild Wings for a project at Oxbow Landing. We have already passed a number of hurdles through this project. No, I shouldn't say hurdles, but a number of steps that we've needed to have taken. And it's already passed first and second reading with the City Council. The Economic Development Commission has already approved this project. So at this time, Chris Moore is here from Nice Engineering, who's the engineer for BW3s, to present the plan and to answer any questions that you may have in regards to the project. And also, Chris probably has a few words.
Yes. Hello. Thank you for the time tonight. Again, my name is Chris Moore with Nice Engineering, here to present the Buffalo Wild Wings project in the Oxbow Landing. The project is going to be located on the, I would consider it the farther northeast parcel. Once you come in off of Kennedy Avenue and the road zigzags around, it's the last road before the road ties in, or the last lot before the road ties back into the existing road that runs along the expressway. The building is approximately 7,890 square feet. We went through and working with them and dealing with the restaurants in the area and the different developments in the area. It seems like nowadays, no matter where you go, that the parking is really tight and hard to get in, hard to get into the spots, hard to just maneuver around the parking areas. I was able to talk with our client and recommend that we go through and size the parking spaces to the recommended size that the city has, which is 10 foot by 20 foot. And a lot of places are going down to 9 feet wide by 18 feet long. And you can get cars in and out of those spaces, but once you start getting in the larger trucks, the larger vehicles, it's just too tight to maneuver around. Not only that, the aisleways for the cars to get in through and throughout the parking lots, we went through with them, the recommended, what I would consider the recommended size for a standard parking lot, not reduced at all. On top of that, the number of parking spaces that are required with the city's ordinances is 72 parking spaces. That's based off the square foot of the building, plus the number of employees that are going to be working there at any given time. We increased that from 72 parking spaces to 137, so we've oversized the parking spot by a total of 65 parking spaces. The inside the building is going to be is going to be a total of 298 seats for people to come in and sit down. And if you guys haven't gone to a Buffalo Wild Wings, you really need to go. It's one of my favorite restaurants. It's really good, and it's got more than just hot wings. You know, it's got all sorts of stuff, and plus it's a great environment, especially when it comes down to the sports.
I understand you have a trivia thing going.
They do, and that's a lot of fun. I've partaken in that myself. And you've seen the restaurants whenever you go. You look at the one in Cherville. Whenever there's any type of big sporting event over there, the parking lot is just overflowing out onto the street, and the place is just packed. I mean, it's a good time to be around here. We've taken that into consideration, the parking lot size appropriately. The drainage in the area is going to drain directly into the Oxbow, which is basically considered to be an oversized detention basin. I've talked with Army Corps, DNR, and IDEM and shown them what we're planning on doing. And we're going to send the water, it's considered to be a vortex system, which swirls the water around to clean out all the contaminants in there before it gets into the Oxbow. So they're taking that into consideration and doing what they can do to protect the environment. Going back into the inside of the building, the place is going to be loaded with TVs for whenever they have the sporting events. There's going to be 66 total televisions that are going to be in there. And then there's going to be what's considered to be an open air seating area, which is it's kind of a separate area by itself. And there's going to be garage doors that are there that will open up and allow the people to have open air atmosphere in there. This area will also be separated with its own HVAC system. So when the doors are open, the system will shut off so you can enjoy the outside and we're not wasting any energy. The rest of the building will be separated and stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Let's see what else we got there. There's going to be a total of about 15 to 20 employees that are going to be working there at any given time. And I think that's really about all we have. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, so is your sign going to be on the big sign?
We're planning on having our sign on the big sign.
Okay. I hope it's there.
I like that kind of indoor-outdoor kind of concept that you're talking about.
It's real comfortable in there.
I've seen it at Quaker State and Lube.
There you go.
Kind of neat.
I agree.
Any more questions, discussions, Commissioners? Brian, you got some words for us?
You guys still have questions for Chris? Okay.
He's pretty self-explanatory.
I do, okay.
He's very articulate too, so.
Just talk to those. Anyway, just to make sure that the employee count, as my report is intended to say per shift or at any given time, that's the common phrase. So there will be obviously more employees than 15 to 20. One of the other comments that I think I just want to point out that Chris was saying is this open air concept. It is a new type of seating that we don't have in the city of Hammond. And really, it was the impetus for me writing some new regulations for the zoning ordinance that would allow for this type of open air seating and even going to the next step of having a certain type of outdoor seating. And the city council did pass that at its last meeting and waiting for the mayor's signature, and then that's officially a part of the zoning ordinance. But getting back to this particular project, this is located in the Gateways redevelopment area. It's actually located in the what is referred to as the East Gateway sub-area. One of the things that's always talked about in the plan is that they want to make sure the area is developed as a harmonious, unified commercial retail development, the appropriate protections for the wetlands. We all know the Little Cal Levee project is in full force. That opened up having the floodplain regulations removed. Therefore, now this property can come back for development. So we're ripe for that development, and I think as we go forward with this as our first project, it becomes very exciting and start to see the transformation of this part of the city of Hammond. So I think I'll make it very short and sweet that the staff recommends that the Redevelopment Commission determine that the Buffalo Wild Wings at 2942 Carlson Drive is in compliance with the Gateways redevelopment area plan.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Poland? Are you going to so move?
I'll so move on that.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Presley, Navejas, Myrick,
Yes.
Ockridge,
Yes.
Lambert.
Yes, motion passes. 3 commissioners present and 2 absent. Good job. We're looking forward to it. Okay, number 11, determination of compliance for, we're going determination of compliance regarding FCS Properties LLC at 610 131st Place in North Hammond Redevelopment Area. Hello.
Hi. Hello. My name's Tony Sikoris. I'm representing FCS Properties. And last fall, the building burned down. It's on 610 131st Place. And to this point, we've got a new building plan to go up in the same area. And we've met all the greenscape requirements on the lots. And the new brick requirements, 30% on the front of the building. The old building was about 30-some years old, and we're requesting to put up a new building. Expected investment's about $625,000 to be a new metal building, same location. And it's replacing the fire damaged building that was there, trying to put it in the exact same footprint.
Questions, commissioners, discussion? Rather, I think, what do you think?
I remember the fire. It was a pretty bad fire. That's about all. Glad to see you trying to do something here, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Although it was a bad thing, it's actually, in the long run, a good thing.
Good. It's going to look a lot better.
A nicer building, and I was looking at something about it was not in non-compliance, but now everything would be in compliance.
I'll talk about that.
Okay. Sorry. I'm done.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yes. You done?
I'm done.
No discussion?
Brian, you're on deck. You got a busy night.
Next.
All
Thank you.
right. Okay, so
you.
this is located in the North Hammond redevelopment area. It's in the sub-area that we refer to as 131st Place in the Klein Corridor. I think he pretty much made it clear to you that they're constructing a new building in its old location. One of the things that did arise for us, there was a zoning question because the building that was previously there does not meet the current side yard setback requirements. So we had to go back and do a lot of investigation on the history of this. And the building that we lost was built in 1979. It would have been built under the 1951 ordinance. In that ordinance, there were no side yard setback requirements. So therefore, it would have been constructed conforming. Even though the regulations changed with the 81 ordinance and then now with the 2003 ordinance, that's where we come in, but it's legal non-conforming. Okay, and then we had to do a whole math calculation as to was it destroyed more than 75% of its fair market value. So we went through all that math calculation and it met that criteria, so we can allow him to build it back where it was. It will still be considered to be non-conforming, a legal non-conforming building. That's just the way it's going to be treated, but he can reconstruct it. As he mentioned, that, you know, they are meeting the landscape requirements and they are meeting the masonry requirements. So just from all that, the staff recommends that the redevelopment commission make a determination that the proposed FCS Properties project is in compliance with the redevelopment plan for North Hammond.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions, commissioners? Discussion? Okay.
Say so moved.
You can say that.
So moved.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Presley, Navejas, Myrick,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Lambert.
Yes, motion passes. 3 commissioners present and 2 absent.
Thank you.
Good luck.
I have one thing for, excuse me, sir. When everything gets done, if you could just maybe send us an invite to just tour the place.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 12, welcome back. Determination of compliance for Wendy's remodel at 1844 165th Street in the Woodmar sub-area of the Hammond Central Redevelopment Area.
Commissioners, I think once you see the material, you will be very thrilled about this particular project. However, the petitioners were unable to make it tonight, and they have asked that their matter be tabled to the next available meeting. So that is the request, that you table this till the next available meeting.
I make a motion to table to the next meeting.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Presley, Navejas, Myrick,
Yes.
Hopper, Lambert.
Yes, motion passes. It will be tabled until the next meeting. Is that fine with you?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Brian. All right.
I was hoping he'd handle this one as well, but apparently he's going to leave.
You leaving it?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I can wing it.
Number 13,
Hang out for a minute.
approval of subordination agreement for KHA and Associates.
Commissioners, you have in your packet a copy of the subordination agreement. KHA was the first successful applicant through our job creation business expansion program. With the dollars that they received, they created an app which helped expand their business, and actually they won an award for the app. I would say it's one of the most successful loans that we've made through the program, I think out of the 5 or 6. When we completed this loan, it was approximately just over 2.5 years ago. There's a 3-year requirement that they have to keep the employees on staff. Obviously, we're approximately 90 days away from the lien being removed from their from title because they followed through with the requirements of the program. As you may recall, it's a forgivable loan. So as long as they keep those 2 employees that they hired on staff, they don't have to pay the funds back. In this situation, they are looking to expand, so they went to a bank for a loan, and the bank is willing to loan them the money, which is great news. They wanted the city to take a back seat to let the bank be the primary lien holder, which after Dave Westland reviewed and myself, of course, we thought that was completely appropriate. We don't want to stop the business from expanding and even creating hopefully more job opportunities in the future. So that's it, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Any more questions?
No.
Pretty clear.
Madam President, then,
Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion for approval of the subordination agreement for KHA and Associates.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Presley, Navejas, Myrick,
Yes.
Hopper,
Yes.
Lambert.
Yes, motion passes. 3 commissioners present and 6 absent. Okay, number 14, resolution number 1-2014. I'm going to let you read it. I'm not going to, you just,
It's a resolution of the City of Hammond Redevelopment Commission irrevocably pledging tax increment from the Gateway allocation area to the payment of the City of Hammond, Indiana Taxable Economic Development Revenue Bonds, Series 2014, parentheses, Gateway Area Project.
it's happening.
This is the BW3's project. As you know, we entered an agreement with the Buffalo Wild Wings Group, pledging tax increment as part of the incentives of the deal. I believe their project is approximately $2.5 million, and we offered them $800,000 through the sale of the bond. You'll see $850,000 because there are associated costs with selling the bond. And as I mentioned earlier, this bond has already passed first and second reading at the council. We believe it will have final passage on Monday, May 12th. It also has passed the Economic Development Commission. So basically, we're looking to approve the resolution that authorizes the sale of the bond per the agreement that we made with Buffalo Wild Wings.
Any questions, discussion?
Second.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Stover Presley, Navejas, Myers,
Yes.
Hawkins,
Yes.
Lambert.
Yes, motion passes. 3 commissioners present and 1 absent. Number 15, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, Commissioners, for, I know we had a lot on the agenda today, and there was a lot of great things that are going on, and appreciate all your work to make sure everything is moving along. Very quickly, in your packet, you have a couple pamphlets or flyers, one for the Realtors Breakfast, which is Thursday, May 22nd, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Lost Marsh Golf Course. We've had very successful turnouts over the last, I believe this is the 4th one, so over the last 3 years. A lot of realtors come to this, not only from Northwest Indiana, but also from the Chicagoland area, which is good. We like to see realtors from everywhere to get involved and find out what's going on in Hammond and Northwest Indiana. So we're hoping that that some of the commissioners are able to attend as well to represent redevelopment.
We've made some RSVPs.
Great. Also, you have,
I did.
did you have a question?
No, I was saying I'll be there.
Okay, great. Yeah, you have 2 reasons to be there.
Wear both hats that day, okay?
Also, we have a Salute to Hammond Seniors Picnic, Wednesday, June 4th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Pulaski Park. Food, games, music, and loads of fun. And then lastly, we have June 14th, 2014, at Memorial Park from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Mysterio Alliance and Hammond and vicinity, along with the Department of Community Development, encourages everyone to come out for a day filled with lots of food, games, and community fun. So it's a community picnic. So hopefully we'll see a few of the commissioners are able to make it that day as well. As far as the report, obviously, Monday is a big day when the council, I'm confident, passes the final passage of the bond for the Buffalo Wild Wings project. Shortly after that, the closing will occur of the sale of property from redevelopment to Buffalo Wild Wings. And I think very early on in June, you will see construction start at Oxbow Landing, which is exciting. This is a long time coming. There's been a lot of things that have transpired between purchasing the property, knocking down, demolishing the buildings, constructing a new road. That I recall when we constructed that road, we used 3 different pots of money, including empowerment zone funds, in which at the time that we used the empowerment zone funds, if we didn't use them before the end of that year, and I think this was at the time it was August or September, we were going to lose them, and it was just under $1 million. So a lot of positives. This has been a long way. To see a shovel in the ground is going to be very exciting. Besides the shovels that are there now with the Little River Basin Commission project, which you know about because we approved that, I believe, last meeting or the meeting before that. Also, there's some geotechnical work being done at Oxbow Landing right now. So there's some digging, there's testing going on to check compaction. So when some of these projects move forward, engineers know exactly what is needed to support the new buildings that are going to be constructed. Beyond that, there's been a lot of real positive talk about the Kmart site. There's a lot of interest in that property. We're getting phone calls on a daily basis. I'm sure the realtor on that property has his hands full right now. And also the Cabela's property. The Walmart construction has started. You'll see dirt being moved around as we speak if you drive over there. So what I'll call the 8094 corridors, Calumet Avenue, Indianapolis and Kennedy, there's a lot of activity about to happen. I think 2014 is going to be a great year for that area. So that's really all I have to talk about now. I'll be happy to take any questions that anybody has.
Well, the Walmart project, you said it's getting started, you're gonna have stick a shovel in the ground?
Yes, they already have started moving dirt at Cabela's. We did not do an official ribbon cutting.
I'm really excited for that to happen. I truly am. I'm just,
Well, and part B of that is to find a new tenant for the vacant box that's going to be at the Walmart location, or the Woodmart location. I believe it's 145,000 square feet, and we're working on that as we speak. We're working with the realtor, the real estate broker. His name is Todd Goff. He's very anxious to find a new user to bring a new tenant in so that we don't have a vacant box for very long.
very good.
Is there anything else happening in Woodmar?
Well, as you know, if you drive by there, you'll see the construction of the new O'Reilly's Auto Parts. That building is moving along very quickly.
Very good.
After we approve the new Wendy's remodel, you're going to see the remodel happen very quickly. Obviously, the Taco Bell is moving along. Also, they're going to have a complete remodel as well. Beyond that, I think everybody's aware at this point that there is going to be a Dollar Tree store. That's also, they purchased property right by where the O'Reilly's Auto Parts is going. So beyond that, I don't have any other new information other than we're working real hard with the real estate broker to find a new tenant for the soon-to-be old Walmart location.
The only thing I wanted to add is what you said a little bit ago, the Oxbow bike trail over there, it is pretty much done, and it's the blacktop and everything came out pretty nice there. I saw it today.
It really did. It looks great, and you know, it only enhances the development over there. Obviously, you want people to be walking and riding their bikes and going by that development, and hopefully stopping at BW3s and maybe other future projects that we'll be talking about in the not too distant future. So I think the Little River Basin Commission did a great job. I think part of that project was making it more ADA accessible, and I know they've done that, so all in all, it was a win-win.
Getting exciting in Hammond now. Any more questions, Mr. Taylor? Okay, Ms. Miller, she had to leave. Number 16. Pay some bills.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the Register of Claims February 19th, 2014 through April 30th, 2014 for the Redevelopment Commission meeting today, May 8th, 2014. Claims R50071 through R50365.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Total Presley, Navegas, Myrick,
Yes.
Aldridge,
Yes.
Sandler.
Yes, motion passes. 3 commissioners present and 2 absent. Number 17, new and unfinished business.
Commissioners, Cynthia handed out a proposal from Americo for engineering services at 651 Conkey. The reason that you just received this is, as you recall, we put out an RFP for the property at 649 and 651 Conkey Street. We received a bid from Root Brothers. We've been working with them very closely to come to an agreement. Obviously, they are the company that we've chosen to work with since they were the one and only bid. So I think that's obvious. But as part of the agreement that we have with them, they did have some things that they wanted done. One of those things is the demolition of 2 structures behind the 651 Conkey building. One is a very large, I don't want to say a water tower, and we'll have Zach come up because he's going to say it much more eloquently than I will. So come on up, Zach. But one is some sort of a vat that obviously had some sort of liquid in it at one time. I believe it's clear at this point, but we're not 100%. And then there's also a cement structure that needs to be demolished as well. What would you call it, Zach?
A water tank would be sufficient, yeah.
Water tank, there you
How
go.
large is the water tank, man? Is it underground?
No, it's above ground. It's probably 20 feet tall. I think it's about 15 feet in diameter. So it's rather large.
It's large.
It was used by the printing press when they were still printing there.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome, Zachary.
Yeah, good afternoon, Commissioners.
So as I mentioned, the reason the proposal came to you today is we didn't have it until just recently before the packets were sent out. But this is I don't want to call it a rush project, but there are 5 or 6 items that we're trying to complete that will help us sell the property to Root Brothers and then, of course, create a lot of jobs and have a new business in Hammond that is moving from Illinois. So we're very excited about it, but there's 4 or 5 things that we must get done for us to move forward, and this is one of them.
Have any questions for Zachary?
It's not like that water tank that they removed that they're building in the city about a month or so ago, off Milwaukee and something. It was this huge, in the Dutch neighborhood, it was a huge water tower.
It's not really a tower. It's on the ground. Yeah. I mean, I'm not familiar with that
I
project,
know he's
so I
talking
don't
about,
know.
it's smaller, but, you know,
It's sizable. I mean, I don't have the estimate on how large gallon-wise it was, but I mean, it's a sizable tank.
It's empty.
As far as we are aware, yes.
I don't know, somebody's going to have to climb that ladder
Yeah.
and poke their head in.
Yeah.
And I can
Don't
just,
light a match.
yeah, we'll take a list of volunteers.
We have
but
straws. So.
I asked Zach to do it that day, he was not interested, so.
It was a
But
little windy, you know.
It is larger when you get there and it gets in front of you, it's large,
It's large.
so.
I don't have any more questions, I guess. Seems relatively simple project, so, Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion, the proposal engineering services for 651 Conkey Street for Americo Incorporated.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. 3 commissioners present and 2 absent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Good job, as usual.
Thank you.
Number 18, public comments, 3 minutes. I'd like to recognize Greg. He's worked with us for a few years, haven't been here for a while, but welcome back. Nice seeing you, Greg. I'll speak next time. Okay. If you have something to say, you're welcome. All right. We have no public who wants to speak. Number 19.
Madam President,
Yes, Commissioner.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say yay.
Second.